All right, I think that's it. Can we close the door if no one else coming in? Okay, thank you everybody again for coming. This is the 201 session. We just had the 101 session, which was pretty introductory. We had a bit of a look at the interface and dove around, looked at the process for setting up tags. We've got some Anomaly people in the room. So tagging is a dual responsibility between Anomaly and Reprise at the moment. So we can all benefit from this session. We've got Melbourne on the line. We had Brisbane on the line. They're not responding at the moment. So we're trying to track them down and see what's going on. Anyway, let's dive right into it. So hello, Scott and Justin. We're the analytics team at Reprise at the moment. There's a nice picture of us both. So the agenda for this session, we're going to have a recap of the tag management sales process, which Justin went over in the 101. We're going to give some examples of advanced tag implementations that Reprise has done itself. We're going to review tag templates again, just to refresh on them, and then we're going to get hands-on. We're actually going to start creating some tags, which I know everyone's really excited to do. Just on the hands-on bit, I'm not sure how it's going to work because creating tags can be quite complicated. We're going to do an easy one. We're going to do a pretty hard one, and then maybe another hard one. I'll caveat the maybe on that one. We'll see how we go with the first two, and then we'll go on to the third one. Okay, so good question. Can we get access to Tag Manager? Okay, in Bitium, there is an account called GTM Users. This is actually going to be a problem for the Anomaly guys, I just realized. So okay. What's the email address? Can you email Justin Alcantara at, yeah, you get it, and just add it to the training container. Cool. Sorry, guys, we're just adding the Anomaly address to the training container so everyone can do these tags. Yeah, so it might be, I'm not sure how this is going to work. As I said, this is the first time we've run these sessions. We're running it through Google Hangouts. The reason being we want to record the sessions so people can come back and look at them online. So please bear with us. Hopefully it all works smoothly. If you have any feedback after sessions, we'd love to hear it so we can improve these going forward. Okay, cool. So a recap of the tag management sales process. These are the services that we generally offer as part of tag management, or some of the major ones. So I spoke about this in the 101, but I'll briefly go over it again in the 201. So campaigns are tag management of seismic campaigns, Kenshu, DoubleClick, etc. Third-party tags are the likes of Facebook, etc. Custom tags are more complicated tags, such as scroll depth, video engagement, etc. And tag debugging is what it says it is, investigating tag issues and fixing them up. There's more info in the process document on this slide, and we'll send out links at the end of this presentation as well. So here's an example of the costs of those services. So the campaigns service is free, included for free if there's a retainer for $10,000 per month. Question from Lorraine?
Is that it has to be in like an SEO retainer, or can it be we make more than $10,000 a month in revenue from a paid account, so we can use GTM to do double-click tags? Yep.
Got it. So the question is, does that have to be an SEO account? No, it can be any account, so paid or SEO. If it's over $10,000 per month, we'll do tag in revenue retainer based. We'll do tag management for that. Okay, third-party tags, $285 plus GST per tag. Can anyone anomaly tell me how much they charge per tag? $50. Okay, so it's $50 a month, which I don't really understand why it's so cheap, because we base this on an estimate of a tag takes an hour to do. Sometimes a tag can take 5 minutes to do, sometimes it can take 8 hours to do. So it's really a rough estimate. Where one takes a long time, one might be really quick and the efficiencies there. There's discussions at the moment between Anomaly and Reprise about how much the tags should be. We've set it at $285, so we'll see how it goes going forward. Custom tags are priced on scope. We need to investigate what the tag is before we can decide how much it's going to cost, so speak to Anomaly or Reprise in regards to them. And tag debugging we charge at $285 per hour. I raised this before, but I'll just mention again for tag debugging. A really good example is the Kia website, which changes its URLs when the weather changes. What that means is that tag you had firing on the Sorrento page is not firing anymore because the page is now called Sorrento 2015. Does that make sense? So, yeah, if you're not on top of site changes in particular, then your tags might be firing, so you need to keep abreast of your tags. Okay, so Media Brands has a GTM security policy which we've just started to put together. It's available on the link at the bottom of the screen there. We'll send out these links again at the end of this presentation to everyone here so they can reference them. The first level of the security policy is BTM, which we all know about in Reprise. Does Anomaly use BTM as well? Yep, cool. So BTM stores passwords that none of us know and give us access to programs that way. There's different access levels for GTM, so there's view, edit, and publish levels. Publish is update or actually put the code on the site. Testing, so the testing we do for tags, we use the debugger function of GTM, and we insist that only specialists and above can publish tags, so someone who's experienced. Less experienced people can set up tags, but more experienced people do the publishing after checking them. And then time of tags, which we spoke about before, we've brought in a rule where tags can only be deployed before 2 p.m. on any day to avoid any potential overnight issues. Cool, so the Reprise terms of service.
Just a quick question on that one.
Yep.
With the deployment, are there any deployments on Friday?
Yeah, that's a good point. I've tried to say no to that. Well, it's sort of, it's not 100% decided on that. I think at the moment it's still fine to publish on Friday before 2 p.m. because it still gives you that leeway, but I agree it's more of a risk with the weekend after it, so we're refining that. Okay. Does that answer your question? Yep.
Yep, thanks.
Cool, thank you. All right, so Reprise Terms of Service, so this is the document that we've put together. It's available at that link there, which we'll send out at the end of the presentation. It's really detailed, covers all the contracts, service levels, and security processes. It's really easy to fill out. You just go to the yellow highlighted bits and change the name of the client and the various areas to fill that form out. Okay, some Reprise implementation. So this is some of the advanced tags that we've done at Reprise. These aren't taken from the internet, these are our own in-house implementations. So the first one of them is for Jaleek. What we've actually done here is we've set up a scroll depth tag on all of the blogs on the Jaleek website. So what this is doing is measuring engagement for each of the blogs, so seeing which ones are the most successful. And obviously that's useful for Jaleek. They can go and decide, hey, this blog's not working, let's change it, let's use another one, etc. So what this table is showing is the engagement measured as an event. So did the person scroll 25% down the page, 50% down the page, 75, 100, etc. And obviously there's more people who start the blog compared to less people who get to the end of the blog. How this could be useful is to compare to a benchmark against other blogs on the Jaleek site. This is the From Sea to Skin blog. If you want to go onto Jaleek's site and have a look, it's one of the best read ones there, apparently. And yeah, a bit less than half the people get to the end of that blog, so maybe it's a bit long. So that's useful for them. Another implementation that we have done is on the Reprise website. So we put weather tags on the Reprise website. So as you can see here, we have weather as a custom variable in GA. And what this is saying is what the weather was like when somebody was visiting the Reprise website. Now, obviously, that's not super, well, it's somewhat useful for the Reprise site, but
sorry, Melvin, again, you just cut out completely. Can you just repeat this weather one?
The whole weather one?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a tag that we have set up on the Reprise website. It measures the weather conditions when a user was on the site. It's debatable how useful it is for the Reprise website, but it may be useful for customers like Bunnings or or Target, or I don't know, a news agent, or a surf school, or businesses that are more dependent on weather, this could be useful for them. So looking at this, it seems like clear weather has a higher bounce rate than rainy weather. I mean, you could go into these figures and start pulling out whatever conclusions you want, but again, this is some useful advanced implementations that doesn't come standard with Google Analytics. This is a tag that we put on the site to get this extra information out.
So if we weren't using Google Tag Manager, we would not be able to gather this data, is that what you're saying?
Basically, it doesn't have to be Google Tag Manager. There's other types of a tag management system. So what it is, tag management is basically putting a piece of code on the site. So it doesn't actually necessarily have to be a tag manager. It could be a developer putting this weather code on the website and then sending hits to GA that way. The reason why we do it in tag manager is, as Justin showed before, it's just one small bit of code that you put on the site. And then once that's on there, you can store heaps of really big bits of code and manage it in a nice format. This one works off your IP address. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So it's not going to be 100% accurate, but again, this was more experimental. So. Yeah, if we wanted to get super accurate about it, we'd have to take them into consideration for sure. Yeah, sorry, the question was about how is that calculated? Is it based off location? And this one is calculated based off IP address. So it's not always 100% accurate, but it's still useful. Okay, so this is another implementation we did for Avio on video plays. So this is similar to the scroll depth tag. It looks at the video interactions and gives us information about how people are engaging with those videos. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. You can look at the screen and see how people were interacting with that video. This is, again, useful because this is information that you get from Google Analytics. If you just put a video on your website, it's not going to tell you, how far someone got through the video, do they watch it to the end, etc., etc. What if you had a video where people, kept on dropping out after the first 10 seconds of it, They might like the idea, but the video itself's terrible, or something like that, you know what I mean? So this extra insight you get from putting code on your site through a tag management platform. Yeah, this is actually YouTube. This is a YouTube video. Cool. Tag templates. Okay, so can everyone please open up the following on their laptops? So Google Tag Manager, log in through Bitium to GTM users, or the Anomaly people through, I don't know what it is the Anomaly people log into. Cool. Can you please open up Google Analytics as well on your laptop? Log in through You don't have Google Analytics.
Google Analytics is something only Reprise gets access to, so I don't have access to it through Bitium.
That's going to make it really hard to debug some of the tags that you put up. Okay, we'll have to have a discussion about that, because you can't put tags on a site properly without having access to Google Analytics. You can debug it before it's put up, but once it's live on the site, you can't see how it's tracking without GA, right? So it might have seemed all good in your initial deployment, but
it's a GA tag, right? Or if it's a double click tag. Yeah, if they're only doing double click tags.
Sorry, you can look in the double click. Ah, right, yeah, fair enough.
So like GA is what Reprise does, whereas Anomaly will work with.
Okay, maybe it's workable then.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So everyone else, please open up Tag Manager and Google Analytics. Sorry guys, just a bit of discussion here in Sydney. Sorry, what was that? Oh, he said. Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, look for training. Yeah, so that's going to be the next slide, I think. Yeah, so for now, can everyone go to the Test Reprise GTM account And is there a container called training Kia backup in there? Okay, so some of the people have got it. The anomaly people don't. Have you given it?
Yeah, it's going to the yes. Yeah. So you've got a training, but due to the Kia backup, so click on that. Then use it. Yeah.
Okay, so sorry, we're just setting up some of the anomaly people with access to that. So just to, by way of explanation, what I've done is I've copied the entire Kia container. So this is an actual container that we use, but I've created a backup of it for training purposes, and that's called a training Kia backup container. Obviously, we don't want to be doing training on a live major client website, but it's going to be useful to look at what a major client container looks like initially anyway, and then we'll get into the training one in a sec. All right, so can I just quick show of hands, is everyone in the training Kia backup container? I'm going to go into it myself.
Scott, we've got some in Melbourne who do and some in Melbourne who do not.
Okay, well, we'll just have to look in, share screen with somebody who does have access and some who don't for now, because we don't have much time to fix that up right now, unfortunately. Okay, so on the screen I'm going to go into accounts. And I'm going to go down to test Reprise GTM account. Why is that not got access to that? Okay, I'm going to get out of this. And I'm going to go to... Why would Reprise Oz users not have access to that? I don't know. Geez, BTM's real fun, isn't it? Big no joke. Okay, guys, backtrack. We're going to go not into the training Kia backup container. There should be another container called training.scottsunderland.net. Can everyone see that?
Yep, we can see that.
Cool. I'm going to go into it on my screen now. So it's this one here, training.scottsunderland.net. So you click on that. Okay, so it should look something like this. Great, there's a new version of GTM. How can I get rid of that? I don't know. Refresh will go. Good. Okay, so we've got this helpful message on the screen. Please ignore it. I don't know why it's there. So what I want you to do is go to tags. You can go through here, or you can just click on new tag here. How about we just click on new tag here? Okay, so you should have a screen like this. So what I just want to quickly go over again is the tag types that that Justin was talking about. So as you can see, there's obviously a whole different list of tag. What are these called again? Tag templates. Tag templates. What I've highlighted here are the main ones that we use in Reprise. So there's a Google Analytics template, Google AdWords template, DoubleClick, and Crazy Egg, which Justin went over. For those in the room who don't know what Crazy Egg is a user experience tool where you can do heat mapping on a site and see where people clicked and do testing and stuff like that. We deploy that through Google Tag Manager. It means we don't have to get a developer involved, and it's really easy that way. The main ones, as I said, are Google Analytics, AdWords for campaigns, and DoubleClick. Okay, Justin spoke before about a custom HTML template. This is an example of one from the Kia container. It's called Test Drive Model Selected tag. I've selected this because it's kind of a smaller piece of custom HTML compared to some of the tags we've done. Basically what it's doing is pushing an event to GA every time a model is selected for a test drive, and also shows the name of this model. So if you can imagine there's like a drop down, or I'm not entirely sure how it works on the Kia website here in this particular case, but if you imagine there's a drop down, we select different vehicles, then this is firing an event to GA saying, oh, somebody selected a model for test drive, and also the name of that model. So can I ask people in the room, it's kind of obvious, but how could you use this information? What would be, Sarah? Retargeting, yeah, exactly. If someone has been interested in a test drive, and we can segment them out, we know that we can create segments within GA and link them to AdWords and DCM, etc., and then remarket to them through the display network or through search, etc. Couldn't do this through GA. You need to tag this one up to get this drop-down interface functionality. Okay, so the Google Analytics template. This is probably one that we use the most. It looks like this. You basically choose Google Analytics, and then you choose two types. Does everyone know the difference between Universal Analytics and classic Google Analytics? No? No? A lot of no's. Surprising. So let me just quickly explain. So classic Google Analytics is like the older version of Google Analytics. It was updated to Universal Analytics roughly 2 years ago. The major changes in that was to allow cross-device tracking. So obviously, as the internet has changed, mobile's become more important, but people are the same. So you're the same user on your mobile as you are on your desktop, as you are, we know this sort of stuff. Universal Analytics allows you to track the same user across platforms. Classic, not so much. Also, enhanced e-commerce is a functionality of Universal Analytics. Classic's got the old version of e-commerce. Enhanced e-commerce has some really cool functionality about tracking shopping checkouts and carts and retargeting different things. So I would expect 99% of our clients to be on Universal Analytics. If they're not, please come and speak to us. It's pretty easy to update, and we can get them moving onto that.
How do we know if they're on or not?
How do we do that?
I'm sure you guys can work it out, but if we...
I'll get back to you on those.
Actually, the classic analytics actually...
The code's different. The code snippet's different.
It's referencing the old JavaScript file. So I'm pretty sure the old JavaScript file is called GA.js, and like the new one's called analytics.js.
When you look in GA, doesn't the number that says the code, the new one says UA something, which I assume stands for Universal Analytics.
Yeah.
So I assume the old one just says...
I forget what the old one says.
It's not just UA.
I think the old one says UA as well, but the code is different, so the actual code snippet. So what I'd probably do is I'd search all pages using Screaming Frog or something and say, is this code on the site?
Your team sort of thing, you guys can work it out.
Well, if you want to quickly look, just see if go into admin and see if you can choose enhanced e-commerce, or if you can choose user ID. User ID is also the name for cross-device tracking. Good point. So yeah, we might run some speed bumps there. But anyway, the point is, we would like to move to Universal Analytics if we find out they don't have Universal Analytics, which might be a hard job. That sounds of it. Okay, cool. So Google Analytics template. Yeah, so you choose Universal in most cases, and then you put in your tracking ID, which will be what James said, your UA and blah, blah, blah. And then you're pretty much right to go. Okay, AdWords conversion tag. This is what it looks like. You could deploy this as a custom HTML, so just basically this code and paste it into the website. But that's the old way, and it's not a very cool way. Now we've got AdWords templates, which make it really easy. So we choose whether it's AdWords conversion tracking or AdWords remarketing. And then we just fill in what the conversion ID and the conversion labels are here. So it's really easy. Save a question.
Is there a function? So like a double click can push your tags to Google Tag Manager. Can we do that?
No, it's not that feature.
Sorry, what was it? I didn't really get that question.
Double click is when you set up the tag, if like tag in DCM or whatever, there's a button that says push to GTM, and the tag will already appear in GTM.
Okay.
And you just have to click like accept. Yeah. The feature's not like that.
Yeah, sorry, just for Melbourne and Brisbane, if you're still around, there was a question about whether you could push a tag directly from DCM to GTM. I'm not in DCM too much. Some of the guys here said, no, you can't do that.
You can do it for DCM, you can't do it for AdWords.
Sorry, you can do it for DCM, you can't do it for AdWords. Yep, cool. Hands-on time. Okay, so let's dive into it. Before we do, a side note on variables. So we spoke about variables before. Variables help you store strings, lookup tables, or pieces of code to be used in other tags. Example is storing the Google Analytics UA ID as a string variable. Okay, so could everyone go into...
Scott, sorry, from Melbourne again. Can you repeat what you said about variables that cut out completely?
Yeah, no worries. Okay, so variables can be used to store strings, lookup tables, and pieces of code. A classic example is storing the UA ID for Google Analytics. If you see in the picture there, this is what it would look like. We're storing it as a constant string, and it's called UA, whatever that is there. So I'm bringing this up because we're going to use variables as we go into the hands-on. So in the training container, can you go into the variables tab and locate the UAID variable and see its configuration on your own laptop, please? So I'll do the same on the screen. So the variables folder is on the left-hand side. So if I click on that, and then there's a whole lot of pre-built variables up here. That's what these blue and green bits are. But the ones that we've built are user-defined variables down the bottom, and one of them is called UAID. So we click on that, and this is what it looks like. So can someone answer why it might be useful to store the Google Analytics UAID as a variable?
So we could change it during that update one place.
Perfect. Perfect. So sometimes companies change their properties or which properties are tracking which websites or whatever. Instead of having to go into every single tag that's got this UAID and changing it manually, we can just change the variable and it changes it automatically throughout. Cool. Good answer. Okay. Okay. So I've set up a training store. Call this. So can everyone go to their browsers and type in this web address, please? So it's http training.scottsunderland.net. Okay, should look something like this. It's really not well formatted on the screen. As you can see, we've put in a lot of work into this website. The idea behind this is hopefully, obviously this is stored on my domain at the moment, but we're rebuilding the Reprise website, and as part of that, I mean, you guys would have heard about this. We want to subdomain it and create a training folder. We're going to set up a store. We're going to set up, various things for us to go in, practice Google Tag Manager and whatever else that we have. So that's the idea behind this. Cool. All right. So if everyone's in there. All right, can everyone open up Google Analytics now? Okay, open in GA. So what's the name of this site? Yes. Okay, so go into Google Analytics and go, why did I do that? Okay, so type in Reprise in the search. And sorry, the screen's really small, so I have to maneuver around it like this. Okay, now there should be a account called Training Reprise Store All Website Data.
No, Reprise uses. It's Training Reprise Store.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Cool. People, sounds like some people are getting access. So Melbourne, can you find this link that I've got here?
Yeah.
Hello, Melbourne?
Yeah, that was a yes, Scott.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, cool. All right, so I'm going in. All right, so can everyone go to real time up at the top left and then click on events. Wow, awesome. So there's a lot of people in at the moment, which is great. Never had this many people on the site before. Hopefully it works. Okay. So what I want to do is demonstrate what's going on here with a tag that we set up previously. So if I go into the shop and I go to Flying Ninja, now where is that?
Are you going to make us all put in our credit card details, Scott?
No, I'm not.
This seems dodgy.
Okay, so let's try and get this bigger.
Like a coin opposite.
All right, there's been no events in the last 30 minutes, but hopefully we're going to generate one. So when I click on Add to Cart, hopefully, okay, so Flying Ninja's been added to the cart. Bang, cool. Oh, now everybody's doing it. Did everyone hit on Add to Cart? It looks like multiple people did. Okay. So if I click on into that detail there, we can see it was an Add to Cart action and the event label was Flying Ninja. Awesome. So what is happening here? We have a tag on that button that's firing an event to GA with event category e-commerce, event action Add to Cart, and the label is the name of the product. Cool. So this is sort of the functionality that we're looking for in a GTM. Okay. So yes, it should look something like this. We had something come up. We've had many of them, which is good. Looks like it's working really well. Okay, so AdWords remarketing tag. This is one of the most requested tag types. We can use the AdWords template to complete. Okay, so this is what I want everyone to do. Can you please create an AdWords remarketing tag for when users land on the Patient Ninja product page? I want the name of the tag to be AdWords remarketing - Patient Ninja plus your initials. So for me, it would be blah, 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 SS. And then for the conversion ID, I want you to put in that number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and conversion label Reprise. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to just quickly try and put that together, and then I'm going to quickly do it on screen. So the major things to take out are it's an AdWords remarketing tag, and we want it to fire when users land on the Patient Ninja product page. That's all right. No worries. No worries. All right, it's really important that you put your initials on the end of it, because otherwise I'm going to have no idea who's done what, and there's going to be, they could be all the same name. So put your initials on the end of it, please. So yeah, the question was the firing rule, and as the statement says, when users land on the Patient Ninja product page. Should give you a pretty good hint for the firing rule. Okay, I'm going to start doing this now. So we go to tags, and we go to new tag, and we go to AdWords. We're doing an AdWords template, and it's a remarketing tag. So the conversion ID was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the conversion label was Reprise. Now I've got to put in the name. AdWords remarketing Patient Ninja SS. Hopefully there's no. I'll do SM. Is there any SS's in the room? Shachi? No. Okay. SD. That's right. All right, cool. So that's in. So continue. So now fire's on. We wanted to fire it not on all pages. We only wanted to fire on some pages. So, wow, cool. We've got a lot of rules in here, which is awesome. Cool. So we got matches regex equal to product ninja. Okay, cool. So just to check this rule, I'm going to go into the product page for that. So patient ninja is down here. And yes, the URL has this sort of structure in it here. So these should work. That should work. Somebody's putting, oh, that's the homepage. Product equals patient ninja. Yeah, these should all work. Where is the other one? Patient page. Yeah, these will all work. Okay, so I can choose one of these. I'll choose this one. Looks good to me. And I'm going to create tag. Cool. This looks like it's working. This is so annoying. I've never seen this before ever. But anyway,
Refresh it doesn't do anything.
The refresh doesn't do anything. Anyway, if we can just try and ignore that refresh button. So in the top right corner, you've got the publish button. Now, when you click the arrow, you have three options. You can publish, preview, or create version. What we're going to do is we're going to preview. Now, this will be interesting. I've never previewed with millions of.
We can't publish.
No, so none of you guys can publish, which is cool. This is a training session. We just want to keep control of what's being published, but I can publish. So we might publish some tags here, but first I just want to debug this tag. So once you have the debug mode on, you get this yellow button showing that you're in preview mode. So you can go back to the website then and refresh the page. And you should get a nice debugger window down the bottom. And cool, we had a number of tags fire on this page. So we had Patient Ninja SK. Who's SK? Anyone here? BB, AM, JP, JS. Cool. There's a whole lot of tags being fired on this within debug mode. So yeah, congratulations. That looks like that's firing pretty well. Actually, is it already marking? Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Cool. All right. We'll go on to the next phase now. What it should look like, we just saw on the screen, it's just a template, so it's pretty easy. You just put the name in, the conversion ID, and the type. The trigger should look, okay, so the way I did it, I just had Patient Ninja, but you know, the product part, etc. you can include as well. This was getting back to a point earlier. There's not one correct answer for these things. There's different ways to attack it as well. It may not necessarily have to be the page URL you could have used. You could have used the page title equals to you know, Patient Ninja, or I don't know. There's all different types of rules that could potentially be right for this. But this is how we set it up here. Okay, let's debug. We just did that, so that's cool. When we click on the preview button, the debugger appears at the bottom of the window. So even if you don't have publish access, you could set up a tag and then put it into preview mode and see if the tag is firing. And if it's not, you know that there's something wrong with your rule or with the tag. Okay, next tag, a bit harder. A step back. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit challenging, but hopefully you can bear with us. So we'll talk about CSS selectors. So CSS selectors are syntax used to select elements on your page. You can basically select any element on the page. Some of the main ones which I've highlighted here are ID selectors, which start with a hash. Class selectors, which start with a dot, and link or href selectors, which start with square bracket href and whatever the anchor is called. It's usually called a href, but I guess it can be called other letters as well. Okay, so this is going to be important because we're going to use this in the next tag that we use. In particular, we're going to look at the class selector. More information on these selectors are at this link here, which we'll send out as part of the end of this session. Okay, so button click. We're basically going to make a tag which we've just seen for the in GA for the Flying Ninja one, but we're going to do the same for Patient Ninja. Okay, so we get asked to tag buttons quite a lot. Again, buttons aren't automatically tracked in GA. It's something that we need to put code around to start tracking. Okay, so if everyone can go to the Patient Ninja product page and find the Add to Cart button. We've just been there before. What I want you to do is to build a Google Analytics event tag with the following parameters. So I want the name to be add to cart dash patient ninja plus your initials. Event category equal to e-commerce. Event action equal to add to cart. And then the tricky bit is going to be the event label. So when you see two curly brackets around the name, that implies that it's a variable. So we want the event label to be a variable in this case called product name or sim. Yeah. No, I don't think so.
What tracking ID do we use?
Look at that, why is that grayed out? Okay, we definitely can't do it. Okay, for now, leave out the variable bit. I'll do that on the screen, but just set up the tag with this information, and then the rule according to what you think it should be as well. So I'm going to start doing this.
Can you put that back up on the screen? Sorry.
So I'm going to leave preview mode. Okay, so I'm going to start setting this up. So new tag. Now, it's a Google Analytics tag, so we click on Google Analytics. I should name it now, so it was add to cart patient ninja sets. Cool. Universal Analytics. Configure tag, continue. So tracking ID. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I missed a step here, guys. So for tracking ID, we need to put in the tracking ID for the site. We've already set up the variable, which I showed before in the previous step. We know it's called UAID. So how we do that? We just click on this button here, and we look for UAID. And we can add it here. You can actually type in the actual UAID manually here as well, but it's, as we said, there's benefits in storing it as a variable. We leave it as page, oh, this is going to be an event. So we actually change this drop down to event. So there's different types of GA tracking you can use. By far the major two are page view and event. This is an event we're tracking. So the category was e-commerce. The action was add to cart. And the label, as I said, is a tricky bit, which is what we wanted to store for the product name, but we wanted it to be a variable. So I'm just going to leave it blank for now. I'm going to continue. Now, we only want to fire this on the Patient Ninja page, but we also only want to fire it when they click on that Add to Cart button. So it will be on click. Now, I've already set up a rule which is very similar to how this would work. we've got the add to cart for Flying Ninja. It looks like this. So the page URL contains Flying Ninja, and the click classes contains this. I'll explain that in a quick sec. So what I'm going to do is, it looks like someone started to set one up here. JP. Who's JP? Is that you? JP's done a really good job. I think they've got Flying Ninja instead of Patient Ninja. And button add to cart. Okay, I'm going to use this. That was James, is it? Yeah, that was you. Okay, cool. I'm going to use this, but I'm going to try and edit it if I can. So I hope you don't mind. So I'm going to have a look at this, and I'm going to change what has been done here to Patient Ninja. Now I don't think this is correct here. It could be.
I took it off the wrong page. I took it off the
page. Thought you might have. Yeah. So I'm going to change this. So what has gone on here is, hopefully I can get rid of the debugger now. So when I go to Patient Ninja, so I want to see what this element is. So if I right-click on it and hit Inspect Element, it gives me information about this button, and I can see its class is single add to cart button alt. So if I edit that, I can select that. And if I go back in here, it's that there. So what you're able to choose here is different element types. What we want to match here is click classes, because it's a click on the page, and this element is a class element. So that's why we use click classes here. Page URL is pretty self-explanatory. We know what page URL means. If we look in the actual page URL, we can see it ends in patient/ninja, which is what we've used here. Cool, I'm liking this one now. Okay, tag. Cool, that's great, but we have that final step of the variable, which will give us what the product name is. So I've already set up one before for this one, and what I've called it is product name. So let's just use this one, but I'll show you how it was set up. So when you go into variables, let's just edit it. You can choose what type of variable you're creating. What we're using here is a DOM element. So a DOM element is just an element on a web page. So we choose DOM element. Document object model, I think it is. I can't remember exactly. Okay, so we're choosing CSS selector, which I briefly touched on before, and then we need to have an identifier for what the element we're selecting is. So what am I actually doing here? I'm trying to find out what the product name is. So I go back to the Patient Ninja page, and I see where on the page is the product name. Well, it's right there. If I inspect the element, I can see that it's called class product title entry title. It's got entry title at the end. I can just use the entry title part of this to select this element because it's the only entry title on the entire page. If I actually do a quick search, it should have, yeah, there's only one on the page, so it's only going to select that one element. So by putting in dot, remember when I said when you're selecting a class you put a dot in front of it? If it's an ID you put a hash in front of it. If it's a link you put ahref in front of it with square brackets. Cool, so that should select that product name.
With the bit there, you said the thing said something when it said like product title something in. So do you only have to have part of it in there? Because you've only got the title, you don't have product title.
So that's a very good question. So what we're selecting on class now. So class generally describes a number of elements on a page. So a number of elements can belong to a class, whereas an ID is always a unique element on the page. Ideally, we do this using IDs, but because the way this page is structured, there isn't any IDs on the page. We have to use class elements. What James has said, so as part of the DOM tree, you have one element in a class, which might be part of another class, so it's called like a parent-child relationship going through the structure. So all I've used is the end part of that parent-child structure. Should I put in all the parents above that to be more correct, yes, you probably should. But because I know there's only one of these on the page, I'm just using the last bit. So sometimes this won't work. If there's a number of elements called entry title, you might have to go further up the DOM tree to specify that. Cool. So this is all kind of complicated, but what we've done is we've selected the product name from that tag. So if we go into the tag that we just set up, yep, Ninja, cool, added 3 minutes ago. Let's change the label to product name. Cool. Save. Okay, so I just don't know if I publish this now, whether it's just going to have hundreds of tags like going crazy. I'm not sure what the hell's going on. Can everybody go into the tag they created and just delete the rule that they did? So just like press X on the rules. That means it just won't fire anywhere. Can everyone just do that for me, please, for now? And then I'll publish this container with the one that we just modified, and we should get this firing on the site.
Does that include the tag we used?
The tag, leave the tag fine. The tag is fine.
No, the last one we did. So this is now the second.
I'm talking about the second one. So with the second tag you've just created, can you go into the firing rule and just turn it off or delete it? It's the same thing. Yeah, so I'll go into, this is one of the AdWords ones, which is not the one I want you to do, but just to show you. The firing rule is here. So click on it and then just go bang, and then save tag. So here the tag is saved, but it's never going to fire because it's got no firing rule. Cool, looks like they're all being deleted, except the AdWords remarketing ones, which is fine because we're leaving them. Okay, cool. I'm going to debug this now. So if we go into debug mode, preview, and if I refresh the page, now I've got a handy thing on my extensions which you might use called GTM Sonar. And what that does is it disables the page, the links and clicks from actually working. So when I click on the add to cart button here, it's not actually going to add it to the cart, but GTM is going to recognize that I clicked on the button. So it's good for testing sort of purposes. So I'm going to turn on click links listener and switch on. I'm going to hit add to cart. Cool. Okay, some stuff happened. Great, a few tags fired. Which one's fired? The Flying Ninja TS one fired. So cool, wrong name, but it's firing. Okay, so this is the one I just did, the Patient Ninja SS. Cool. All right, this seems to be working pretty fine. We can click into it in a little more detail, just to give us a bit more information about it. Yeah, so the event action was add to cart, event category was e-commerce, and the event label is product name. This is definitely the one I just created. Cool. This looks like it's working fine. So I'm going to go and publish this now. Publish now. Done. Cool. So are we out of debug mode? Let's leave it. Okay. So when I refresh the page, hopefully this window disappears. Cool. Now I want to see if this is going to be working in Google Analytics. This is the final step that the anomaly people weren't able to test because they don't have GA access. So hit add to cart. I'm hopefully going to see an event in here. Cool, something just came up. Okay. All right, well, there's a lot of people sort of hitting on things, but something just came up literally a few seconds ago, and it looks like it was the add to cart Patient Ninja. So that seems to be working fine. Cool. Right, we've pretty much come to the end. There's only really 2 minutes left. I've got another tag we can do on PDF downloads from the page, which is kind of similar to this. What I'll do is I'll leave that in the presentation, and you guys can maybe do that yourself on your own time. Go onto the training site and upload that. Yeah, well, I'll just dive quickly back in the presentation, see if there's anything else that I needed to say. So this is the sort of structure. So what do we do? So this is the same for the PDF one, but the same for button click. You have to decide on the tag type. So for us, it was a Google Analytics tag because we wanted to send information to Google Analytics, an event tag. Inspect the element and try and get an identifier for it. So in this case, we use the class elements. Build a variable. So in this case, we chose a DOM element. And it was the product name from the page. And then we debugged it in using the preview mode, and then we saw the actual event fire in GA in real time. Cool, what it should look like. So, yep, this was the product title. This is the tag. This is what it should look like, and we saw that on the screen. And the trigger. This is for the Flying Ninja one, but it was similar for the Patient Ninja one. Okay, so that's, I'm going to skip through all this, the PDF stuff. So yeah, that's the end of the session, guys. Is there any questions before we wrap it up?
Yeah, very snake case, not case for the spaces. You have plenty of spaces in it, or you do spaces.
The variable names. This. Oh, no. Yeah, you can use spaces.
Do we have a reprise naming convention that you follow so that all of these things? So
yeah, we're trying to keep it consistent. Like, trying to keep like even folder structures, because that's one thing that we didn't go into. In GTM, you actually like different folders and you organize tags and variables in. Where not really like creating like.
Yeah, so this is a really good point. Really good point by Justin. GTM just introduced folders, and Lorraine raised a really good point as well. As you can see, this is already a mess because there's so many names and stuff all over. It's hard to find out. You know, even the tag that I just made was hard to find. So GTM realized that, built a new thing called folders, and with folders you can start. You know, you create a new folder, and then let's go to testing. And then you can add stuff to the folders. How does it work again? Click on that folder, move to testing. Okay, it's in there, etc. So you can start. So if I come down the bottom now, this should be a folder somewhere. Yeah, testing. So we're going to testing, and there's that tag in there. So it makes it a lot easier to manage your tags, etc.
Thanks, Scott. We've got a question from Melbourne.
Yep.
The question was around the responsibilities of setting up tags. Does that sit with DST or CAT?
DST.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks a lot, guys. That's going to wrap it up. We'll send out all the information after this. There's going to be a recording of this as well, so that you can go back and look online later. You're free to access the training sites, etc. We're going to try and move them onto the Reprise subdomain soon when the new website comes up. But yeah, we'd appreciate any feedback as well that you have, and we'll send out the links to the course as well. So thanks, guys.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Thanks, Melbourne.